about what it is?
No, I'm going to talk about it right now.
Okay.
Hi, everyone.
Hi, everyone.
Hi, welcome back to She Is Me, and we are pleased to welcome Julie Fingersh. Julie is a writer, a blogger, and a freelance journalist for the New York Times, Oprah Daily, Huffington Post, and other outlets. She is cooking for us today, and her presentation is called Ready to Love Cooking: From Oppression to Overwhelm. Oppression and overwhelm
Right.
to joy in the kitchen. Welcome, Julie.
I'm so happy to be here. And Lisa, thank you for inviting me.
You're welcome.
Now, if you had told me, Lisa, like 20 years ago, 10 years ago, even 5 years ago, that Julie Fingersh, would be teaching a cooking class, I would be like, that must be a different Julie Fingersh, although there are no others because it's such a good last name. So I think that I am proof of my topic that you can go from really like being kind of afraid. Oh, and as I told Lisa, friends, unlike the other fancy presentations that go very according to plan, there's going to be beeping. It's going to be like the West Wing. We're going to be moving around. So I'm kind of proof of like what it can look like to spend most of your life with an attitude towards something and then shift. So, okay, Lisa, now you're going to pretend that you haven't heard this story that we talked about on our interview last week. Okay.
Wow. Tell me more, Julie.
I know. Okay, so here's the story. The story is that I grew up in a home where my mom is an amazing cook, was and is an amazing cook. And she is one of those cooks that's like a cook. She reads cookbooks and like every recipe has like a million ingredients and the whole thing. And she likes to cook alone. So she wasn't one of those people who was like, let me teach you. Not that she didn't want to, but she just wanted me out of the kitchen because she needed to concentrate. So I kind of grew up thinking that A, my mother was the best cook in the world, and B, I could never do it. And I think that a lot of us may have grown up this way. So anyway, fast forward to my 20s, when I left the house, I no longer had my mom to cook for me. I just ignored cooking and thought, hopefully I'll never have to cook in my whole life. And then I did get, because college, you don't really have to. And then I got married and I had kids, and behold, I was a mom, and I was supposed to cook. And of course, my children had different wishes and needs and whatever. And so then I was like, kind of like plunged into what many moms feel, which is misery, pressure, oppression. Like are we allowed to use the F-bomb in She Is Me?
Yes, you can.
Okay, good.
You can say whatever you want.
Thank you.
Yes.
It'll just come out very naturally. It was just like every fucking night you had to like think of the next thing, and then you were surrounded, as we are as often as mothers, by all the other mothers who had like the spreadsheets and like Taco Tuesday and all their, organizing principles, all designed to make those of us who have ADD and who can like barely keep track of anything to feel worse about ourselves. Do you relate to this in any way, Lisa?
I relate to this because I even now think, oh my God, what am I going to make for dinner? And why do I always have to be the one to like think of what to make for dinner? And I've done this now. The oldest is 30. So I've done this for 30 years, what's for dinner every night. And I love to cook, but yeah, I feel the pain.
You feel the pain. All right. But you love to cook, which is, so you're, as we discussed on our interview, you are not my audience, because my audience is the people. Well, maybe you are because you're sick of cooking.
I'm not your audience because I kick people out of the kitchen too.
Oh, Well, that's okay. Look, I'm inviting everyone into my kitchen, but this is especially for the people who are like, cookbooks, measurements. Okay, so we're gonna so this is like, you know how most cooking shows have like all the ingredients and the graphics? This is not that. This
And
is
all the little things measured out, and yeah.
I did do a few of the things because this is, as I mentioned, I do teach cooking. I don't have anything to sell, so this gives me less motivation to be organized. I'm so sorry, because this is just out of the goodness of my heart that I want other people to feel the joy. But I do teach cooking classes online for my temple, and I do have all the recordings on my website. So the one thing I will say, and if only I knew how to put it on this banner thing, I would, but
I'll do it right now.
You'll do it. So juliefingersh.com is my website. So for people who would like to dive more into this way of cooking, easy, fun, creative, go to my website. You'll see my cooking classes there. And then you'll see what I really do in real life, which is I'm a writer, as you said, and you'll see my articles. But anyway, on to my transformation from overwhelm to liberation. So, well, this isn't the next step, but the next step was me saying, fuck it. I want to learn how to cook and have it be fun. Mm-hmm. And for me, that was accepting the fact, I'm going to put this down now, but I'm bringing it back up. It was accepting the fact that I'm not going to be one of those cooks with the charts and the graphs and the cookbooks. Instead, I kind of did away with all the rules. And I said, I love food. I love to eat. I know what I like. Why do I have to pay attention to everybody's like measurements? I don't.
Yeah.
And then cue Sam Sifton. Sam Sifton is a writer for the New York Times, and he is the founder of New York Times Cooking. Now, when he came out with this no recipes, I was like, Sam Sifton, you have stolen my brand, even though I don't really have one. I was like, yeah, I've been doing that for 10 years, but you're the one with the book. Anyway, so he's the one with the book, but I just want to pass it on to you. I love this because do you see this? Can you tell? All right.
Yeah.
So these are just, the idea is, and this is how I cook, and you'll see it on my blog too, is that it's just about the ingredients and it's about deciding what you like. Okay. So we're going to plunge in because it's 3:07.
Yes.
So here I'm going to give you a few principles and then we're going to actually start cooking.
Okay.
Here are my principles of going from overwhelm to joy. First of all, banish the idea that you have to follow recipes. You don't. You can look at recipes and get ideas for like, what do I like? What ingredients do I like? Do I like broccoli? Do I like beef? Do I like chicken? Do I like zucchini? You can look up and be like, oh, interesting. That's a pie. That's a pasta dish. And then it will take you like owning the right to make mistakes. You will look at those recipes and then you will begin to improvise. And when I tell people this, here's how this is proven. I started my cooking class. There are a lot of people were like, I can't do this. Tell me exactly what you're doing. And I kept saying, it doesn't matter exactly what I'm doing. What matters is you begin to trust your instincts. Mm-hmm. And then over time, they joined me. And now there are many people from my little world who are like free and happy to be cooking. So,
and that's important. No, but what you're saying, because we talk a lot, and we have been talking a lot this last 4 days about social constructs and perfectionism in women, and how you've got these, cooking shows with these amazing cooks, and they're like, only put in, a quarter of this. Well, what if I want like 2 tablespoons of that in there because I like nutmeg, or, whatever it is. And then the fear of failure, if you don't do it exactly right, or it doesn't come out exactly right, then you tell yourself, well, I can't do it, even though it's perfectly good, but it's not.
So true. Or it's bad, and then you throw it away and you make something the next time. But Lisa, I cannot tell you about the social constructs. It so comes up in these cooking classes because people will be like, wait, how much of that did you put in? And I will
Yeah.
be like, no, don't stop doing that to yourself. Like, it's cumin. You're going to get to know what cumin, how much, you
How
can
much you
start
like,
with.
what it tastes like. Yeah.
Exactly. So, okay. So law number one, there are no laws
Mhm.
except for the law of make your own rules because you can.
Yes.
Number two is I really believe in binge cooking. And to me, it's because I love to what I try to do, and again, this may not work for everybody. To me, I am oppressed if I have to every fucking day I have to decide what I'm cooking. I don't want to have to, I love cooking, but I don't want to have to do it every day.
Yeah.
So Sundays or Saturdays or whatever days, I will think of three things I want to make. I usually will have every week a soup or two, a veggie dish, and then kind of building blocks that I can use for other things, grains or chop fresh veggies or salad bar stuff. Again, you take what you want from the world of what it is that you enjoy eating.
Right. So you'd make a big pot of quinoa or a big pot of
Exactly.
rice or something like that. Yeah.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes. And I'm going to show you what we're going to do with those.
Okay.
And then I think of it in chunks, and I think I'm making a big pot of soup. I'm going to have some for the week, and then I'm going to freeze some so that if I don't want to cook next week, I have it.
Yeah.
And how you can leverage things for combinations of food. How can I use quinoa? Okay, I'm just right off the bat, because it's an ADD cooking show, I'm going to tell you that you can have that for breakfast and put
I love
in,
it for breakfast.
right? Like
Yeah.
milk and chopped fruit.
Raisins and walnuts and
Yes.
yeah.
So that's your breakfast. How can we use it? See, I could easily play this game with you because you are already with me on this. For lunch for quinoa, we could throw that into a salad.
I
Or
would
we can
put Kalamata olives and tomatoes and feta cheese and
yes,
cucumber.
exactly.
Boom.
Then I'm going to just push you one further and say, and this is only because I look on the internet and I get ideas. You can make quinoa cakes. I used to make that for breakfast for my kids. And you take quinoa and you whip up some egg whites and mix in the quinoa, because remember, eggs, and these are the things you learn over time. Eggs go into pancakes, go into
Right.
cakes. They make things fluffy.
Mm-hmm.
And so you can mix quinoa with egg whites and add cinnamon and vanilla. And then you can pan fry them in a cast iron skillet. And then
I'm going to have that.
and it's so damn good. And you
Good
can
for you.
keep that little mix in your fridge.
Well, and it's quinoa is like the highest protein grain, right?
Exactly.
So even
Complete
if you were,
protein.
yeah, it's a complete
Yes.
protein. So if you were
Yes.
going to use or on a, low carb or, something, you can still have quinoa
Right.
flapjacks in the morning. Yeah.
Exactly. So I think it's thinking about combos, thinking about being creative, that there are no rules with food. You can have
No.
quinoa as breakfast. You can have quinoa as dinner. Look, my husband is controlling me in the corner and going like this.
Speed it up.
Speed it up. Look, there's my cute sous chef. He goes between the hospital and helping me. Okay, we're getting to it. But these are important things because at the end of the day, anyone can watch a cooking show. But I love this because I
Yeah.
want people to think of things, in a
Right.
large. The other thing, and we're going to start our cooking, but I want to talk about beauty with cooking and sensuality, because I have learned that I think this is not just a me thing. I think this is like a human thing. Beautiful things attract us. And so for me, for a long time, it was like, oh, keep your eye on the ball. Is it good? Is it perfect? Is it? No. Now it's like, do I like the feeling of cutting? Do I love my gorgeous knife?
That is
Yes.
gorgeous. Yes.
Do I love my Target bowls because isn't that the prettiest color?
It's beautiful.
Right? And then, wait, here's a big one. And then we're really are getting to cooking. Do I love my storage containers? So you get them at Costco. Okay, this is just no, I've already used all my. But like with this, have you seen
Yeah.
these? The
Yeah.
Anchor.
I
So
have
they
those.
do you have these? So
Yeah.
they come in all sizes. And the idea that when you cut up carrots, okay, this is the wrong size.
It
When you
doesn't
cut up
matter.
carrots, you want to eat them. You
Yeah.
don't need to have Doritos because you used to have this like I wish I had been more motivated so I could do my fridge and make it like when things are going well.
Hmm.
Like it's gorgeous and I have a whole row of like chopped veggies and fruits. Then of course you're going to eat well. Okay, here we go. Okay. So, speaking of breakfast, lunch and dinner. I'm going to show just a few things. All right, let me get myself a little cute. Okay, here we go. All right. So breakfast. Speaking of quinoa, I made not quinoa, but I made farro, which is a grain that some people are scared of.
It's an ancient grain.
And this is like people are like, oh, but don't you have to just make rice, right? Or like
No, farro is delicious.
right?
It's
Farro
great.
is-
You know what I love about it? It's
me.
the texture.
Yeah, it's exactly. Okay. Again, if I were more organized, I would have a little PowerPoint, but I want to give a quick instruction on how to make any grain quickly without measurements. I found this on the internet.
Oh, good.
Okay. I love this so much. It totally changed my life. You take a grain. It can be rice. It can be farro. It can be anything. You fill up, you just throw in however much you want. There was no measurements here. I did this because I wanted to be ready so that we could do this together. But,
Is this the finger thing?
Maybe.
Okay, keep going. Keep going.
But basically, it was like I took my little thing of farro. Now I don't know where it is. I poured in however much I wanted. And then with my eyesight, I put water, like double water.
Oh, I see.
No, okay. I put on the stove on high. Once it was boiling, I did put my timer on for 25 minutes, but I tested it. And after 25 minutes, just till it was al dente, which means, I'm sure you know what it means, but it's like, it's like twosome, like it's almost cooked. You take it off, you dump it in your colander, you drain the water, you put it back in your thing, in your pot, you put the top on for 10 minutes and it steams it and it's done. You don't have to measure water. You don't have to measure. And it's amazing. And so rice, because some people have rice cookers and that's good, but I don't. You can do it with anything. And for me, like, I'm so happy I don't have to sit there measuring and doing math. I hate math. I avoid math in cooking. Another social construct, you have to do math. You don't. Yeah. So anyway, here's my perfectly cooked farro. And so what can I do with this? I'm not going to take the time, but with my farro for breakfast, I will chop any fruit, put nuts, put almond milk. You can make it with almond milk and cinnamon and sugar or Splenda. You can put powdered chocolate, unsweetened chocolate, and make it a chocolatey sweet thing with bananas, and that can even be dessert.
Yeah.
And you can do, Lisa, say what you said because it was so yummy. For lunch, you could do the chopped tomatoes.
Yeah, Kalamata olives and feta cheese, cucumber, and tomatoes.
Yes. So that's another thing. You can make it as a pasta dish with a primavera. Okay, so there are many things. Now, and go ahead.
I was going to say, chop up some apples and and some cinnamon and just have a nice hearty snack.
Exactly. So breakfast, lunch, dinner, or you could do dinner and you could do, saute onions and peppers and put the farro in and then put Parmesan on top,
Right. Or
right?
I was thinking, squash.
Squash, add your veggies. Okay, so that's one thing. Another thing you can do, and I'm going to do this. This is something I just discovered. Again, no one told me, totally just fun experimentation. And that takes me to another one of my things, which is, besides beautiful equipment, smart equipment, this is something I discovered late in life.
Oh, no. Yeah.
The great thing about a cast iron pan, which I always thought was for like only camping, turns out no.
No.
Turns out no, right? Turns out what's great, especially if you have ADD and tend to walk out of your kitchen and do your laundry while you're cooking, is that you cannot burn the pan.
Right.
That is a good thing, and for that world. And here's something I discovered, which I'm going to show you. So I take my avocado oil or my whatever. Do you use this? It's so good to have.
I do. Yeah.
Okay. I'm spraying it.
Mm.
Okay. I'm going to put it on high heat. And then this is under the heading of pasta and grains as a condiment. Like if you don't want to have a ton of calories, I am going to, all right, I hope people aren't going to get seasick, but do you see what I'm doing?
Yes.
I'm going to just pan fry this. I'm going to just do that. And then we're going to go do our next thing. But what you're going to see happens is it gets super crunchy. And then you can put it on top of yogurt. You can make a whole veggie dish and just throw it on top as a condiment. And it's super yum. Okay, so that's great. The other thing I do is that
Wait, can I add something?
Please.
If you have any kind of sensitivity to gluten or rice or blood sugar issues or anything like that, farro is an ancient grain and it does not affect you in the same way. So farro is a grain that you can have.
Lisa, clearly we can do our own cooking show together forward for the next conference. That's really good to know. Okay. My husband is now doing the fly. No, that's good. I'm incorporating your executive function. Okay. I want to show you the next. Oh, I want to just wait to add one more thing to the grain idea. Here's another thing I do. Binge prep. I make farro. I'll make 3 different grains. Maybe it's farro, maybe it's quinoa, maybe it's rice, maybe it's oatmeal. Maybe it's wheat berries, which is another thing. I don't know but those are some of the yummiest grains. So Delish. I will do 3. I will combine them into one of my pretty little storage things and keep them in my fridge all week. And then I have them for the week again. It's for breakfast. It's for salads. It's for pasta dishes, right? So it's just thinking joy leverage into that you can keep.
And if you did it just all at like you said, binge prepping or binge cooking, then you're not dreading the hour and a half of prep, cook, cleanup every single day.
Exactly. And what I do is I will take like a few hours to do all this. And it's like really is me time. It really is me time. It's like I'm listening to music. I'm showing you my farro, but it's getting crunchy. Do you hear it sizzling?
Yes.
Okay, so it's going to get super crunchy and it's going to be hard not to just eat right out of the pan for fun.
Well, and the other thing that you're doing is you're scraping your pan with this spoon. And if you have a cast iron skillet, you're not going to scratch it.
Exactly. Cast iron is like totally the way. It's almost the only thing I use. Okay. I'm going to move on to another yummy breakfast snack thingy, which is maybe a spoon. This is a low fat situation. This is something, I don't know. I just made this up because yes, thank you for saying it right. I can never figure that out. This is another thing. You can make up whatever you want. And here's what I made up. I was like, this is really good for you. This is all protein. This is no fat. But like, who wants to eat this by itself? Not, I mean, sometimes maybe I do, but almost never know. So
The
here's
dog.
what I've learned to do with no measurements. I'm going to make a small amount, because what happens in these cooking classes on Zoom is that I make 10 million things. And then Dave and I are like,
Okay,
okay.
now we have to eat it.
Yep. So can I just have a teaspoon? So here's my, what is it? Faye,
Faye.
right?
Mm-hmm.
Right.
Yep.
Okay. And then, or can I have a regular spoon? No, not a measuring. Thank you. Just a big spoon. Yeah. And then I am going to make chocolate yogurt, which is the easiest thing in the world. And okay, here's my friend introduced me. This is sort of crack-like because it's Valrhona. She took off the price tag, so it was probably like a lot. But the other one that I usually always have in the house.
Is it just unsweetened cocoa? Yeah.
Yes. Special dark, not the regular, but special dark. And then watch how yummy and fun. I'm going to make this and eat it later. This is what blows. See, it might not blow your mind, but people are like, oh, but how much was that? But here's your question.
Put as much as you want.
Here are my two rules of cooking. These are the two things I say a lot. Who cares? And oh, well. Those two things will really get you far. So anyway, here's it doesn't matter, because
That's my thing that I say all the time. It doesn't matter.
It doesn't matter. So look, I put too much cocoa in there, because now it's just going to be cocoa. So no big deal, because now I'm just gonna add some of my yogurt, and then I'm gonna do this, and this is going to be like the richest. It literally tastes like the richest dessert. Do you see how? Also, it qualifies with the beauty thing, because can you tell how pretty the color is? Mm-hmm. Okay. Now, if you love bittersweet, you just leave it like that. If you want it a little bit sweet, okay, wait, let me really mix it in. Plus, it's just so cool how it blends. Doesn't this look like the buttercream at Safeway, which is, let's face it, the best buttercream in the world and better than any fancy thing?
Uh-huh. And you know what? People actually make videos of stirring things together.
Oh, they do? See,
yeah, it's a thing.
That is a good. Hon, will you just stir the farro? Okay, so then I'm using my Splenda and I'm mixing it in. Okay, I wish you could eat this with me, and I hope you're going to have this tonight. I'm not going to take the time because we only have 20 minutes left. But what you're going to do with this is you're going to this is like dessert at night, maybe. It's like chop up banana chunks, apple chunks, or if you don't want a lot of this in your calories, you just do berries and then add a little. And then it's like a chocolatey, delicious dessert. And then do you know what you can throw on top of this concoction?
Crunchy farro.
Farro that's crunchy. So it's cold, sweet, chocolate, creamy, fruity, crunchy. It's like the best thing in the whole world. Okay, next. I am going to actually cook something, because it's going to be sad to have our cooking show without actual cooking. So I did this but I wanted to show you. I'm making cauliflower pie, the easiest thing in the world. So lazy that I didn't even cut these up. I bought 2 cauliflower heads. I cut off the bottom. I threw them into a big pan, this pan, with 1 inch of water. Again, you don't need fancy steamers. Literally, I filled this up with 1 inch of water. I threw in my 2 giant cauliflower things. And now I need you. Oh, I was going to just show you. So this was my chopped fruit from the other night that no one ate. And then I'm going to dump it into my creamy, yogurty thing and put farro on top. And then everyone is going to be like, this is the best thing I've ever eaten. And there's no fat. Okay.
Yeah.
I'm just, as you can see, I'm a little bit obsessed with no fat. Okay, here we go. So the cauliflower, what I've done is I just cooked it. I couldn't tell you how long, but it was long, and it was like maybe 25 minutes. It was long enough to be like this soft.
Yes.
And I'm taking this, and then again, this goes back to our principle of let's have fun. And this is very fun. And what I'm going to do here is just basically, I'm macerating our cauliflower. Okay, actually, yeah, now I'm seeing that I was so excited about how fast I was going. I didn't quite cook it enough, but it doesn't matter. Okay, so all right, Dave's gonna do that part. But here I'm gonna tell you the overall thing. The idea for this is cauliflower pie. Lisa, it is so good, so easy.
Sounds good.
And I'm doing this only with cauliflower, but you could also do it with broccoli or zucchini or squash, any veggie. Okay, so watch what I'm gonna do. So that's been macerated. Now, in advance, usually I would do this on my cooking show, 2 scrambled eggs. By the way, this is almost everything is on my blog. So again, let us flash that little thing. I want people, because I feel bad. You're going to be like, I'm never going to remember this. Go to my blog. Almost all the recipes are there. Okay. So that's good, hon. All right. So now look how easy you've got your cauliflower. Okay. Watch me closely and how exact I am. I'm dumping it in. That's a joke. And then I'm just going to mix it up. Now, I'm really a huge believer in fresh ground black pepper because
Yum.
it just makes everything really, really good. So I'm not going to do it, but I actually ground this in my spice grinder and I keep like a lot of it on hand because it's actually a lot better than what you get at the store. In fact, I'm using it all. Okay. No measurements. I just know we like pepper. It's a great flavor booster. And then here is one of my huge secret ingredients. And that is this. This is Israeli. You can get it at Safeway. You can get it at Nugget. You can get it at most places. It's, for me, I use it instead of salt in soups, in pastas, kind of in everything. And then I'm sprinkling it like I maybe would for salt, maybe a little bit more. And then this is it.
So it's just like a chicken seasoning, salty, chickeny flavor.
Yes, exactly. And then all I am doing, wait, what happened to okay. Now I use 2 cauliflower heads because even though it's Dave and I, we eat it so quickly that I just decided, let me just do it all at once.
Well, you're binge cooking anyway, so
I'm binge cooking, and the thing about this is this is going to last all week.
Yeah.
So what I'm going to do here is I am going to bake this at 350 for now just think to yourself, all this really is cauliflower and eggs.
You need to cook the egg. Yeah. So you need to cook the egg.
Exactly. So Dave is going to put this, because first Dave is going to put this in the oven, okay, at 350. Now, while it's cooking, I'm going to make the topping. Okay. Now watch it how.
Oh, there's a topping.
Watch how very scientific this is. Okay. So panko style's just going to taste better than regular. So I'm going to be like, well, that was a big pot of things. And if I have extras,
oh, well.
Yeah. Oh, well. There, yum. Do it. Yeah. You're going to be able to use that and the Parmesan somewhere. So all I'm going to do with the topping is I'm going to do panko, and then I'm going to add some olive oil just to kind of because you know how olive oil makes things crispy.
Yeah.
And then I'm going to do Parmesan because Parmesan with panko is one of the great, combos.
Yes.
Okay. And then I'm just going to go like this. That is the topping. And then I wish we had time so you could see how beautiful this is going to be, but I'm pretty sure it's on my blog. So we're going to cook that for half an hour. And then I'm going to add this till it just gets crispy and melty.
Yeah.
And then I have cauliflower pie all week and it's super yum. Okay. Moving right along because we have, good Lord, 11 minutes. These are just quick snacks. This is something I don't remember where I learned, probably the internet. when you're like, oh, I'm hungry, but what should I eat? I want to eat something healthy. I don't want to cook. I don't want to eat garbage. Look at how exciting this is. You take a cob of corn and then you put it in the microwave for 2 minutes and then you have a snack and it's so good. And no one knows this. Some people
2
know it.
minutes in the husk.
That's it. And then be careful that it doesn't because the husk helps it steam. And then you're like, it's just so good. And you don't even need butter. But if you want a butter, you can add Parmesan, blah, blah, blah. Okay, that's one thing. The next thing I wanted to tell you, equipment.
I had no clue that you could do that.
Yeah, I'm so happy. See, just that was worth it.
Yeah, that was worth it.
I really want to proselytize about my Breville air fryer, which I don't get commissioned for.
I love my air fryer.
Right? It has, but this thing has like every function. Okay. So I would have shown this to you, but again, another snack. I took a single potato, I cut it into fifths, and look, I have potato slabs. No
Yummy.
oil, no butter. They're super yum. They're crunchy. And then here's what I do next. Wait, hun. Oh, I have to show you. These are just things. Now, do you need a cookbook? No, you don't. You just, this is me. I made this up, but what will you make up? I'm like, oh, I don't have sour cream, but I do have whipped chive cream cheese.
Yummy.
So this is like, I put a slather of that. I can eat it like that. Or I take a whole potato, and if I want to make a meal of it, which we don't have time for, I'll open my little can of vegetarian fried beans. I will slather on a layer of beans and sprinkle cheese and sprinkle, maybe I'm going to cut up green onion. That's a meal. Yep. And it's like 10 seconds. I mean, it's so yum. And these last. So with one potato, it's a party. So that's awesome. Okay, moving on. This doesn't have to do with cooking, but I need to quickly tell everyone about these mangoes that I've been bullying everyone to get. They're called kite mangoes, Keitt, Ava. You can get them at Whole Foods. They're gigantic and they come hard as a rock, which is why everyone's afraid of them. But what you do is you get them, you get a lot of them, because once you eat them, you're going to want so many more, but they're not going to stop. They're going to stop selling them.
Yeah.
And then you eat them and they're silky. They're sweet. They're like the fruit of the gods. Have you had these?
I haven't had those.
This one?
No.
Lisa, I wish you might need to come over and get one.
Okay.
Okay. Do I have enough time to do my last proselytizing?
Yes, just do it.
Okay. I'm just going to do it. So I want to proselytize about cucumber salad, but really it's a vehicle for making sure people are not afraid of their Cuisinarts. Cuisinarts are like a thing of the 50s or 60s or something. By the way, here's my corn. Don't have time, but right after class, I'm going to be eating that. I'm going to be very happy. You're going to want to do that. Okay.
Yeah.
Here we go.
Except I don't have a microwave.
Okay. We don't even have time to go into my phone. Let's table that for the next She Is Me conference. How do you even live? But okay. You're in the minority. So cucumber salad. It's on my blog. It's on my website. Here's my pretty mise en scene, because everything has to be pretty. Cucumbers, red peppers, carrots. I feel like onions. I forgot the onions part. But listen, we don't have time to do the whole thing. So I'm going to show you that you can make this huge salad. Just stay with me. Wait, hon, come over here. You can make this gigantic salad. It keeps all week. And watch wait, do you have a Cuisinart?
I do.
Okay. That's so fascinating that you don't have a microwave. I'm sure you have a philosophy, which I really want to hear, but unfortunately we don't have time. So, okay. But I'm going to show you, and maybe you can sous chef the other veggies so we can quickly. So I just want to show you the joy of making a salad that takes 2 seconds to make, and you can use all wheat. Are you with me? Do you see me?
Ready.
Okay. That's my carrot. That's one of my cucumbers. Now here's my carrot. Are you seeing this? Here's my other carrot. Here's my other carrot. Then here's the cucumbers are like especially exciting. Okay, here Dave has cut up an onion. So you do this. And if you could just prep that. And then here's another onion. Okay. And then here's my other cucumber. Not to mention, if you have kids at home, obviously you're going to be supervising them. Mm-hmm. But it's so pleasing to, and look at this. Can you notice? Like, is that like the coolest thing ever?
That is the coolest thing.
It never gets old. Okay. And then here we're going to do, it's a race against time. I feel like we're on, I don't know, one of those reality shows where
like guys' grocery games or something.
Yeah, exactly. Okay, so now I'm putting in my peppers. And just by the way, I've been cooking with you for like 25 minutes and I already have like 5 things for us to eat.
Yeah, right.
Okay, so now look at this. Okay, I did just cut myself. But I've always wondered, like, when am I going to cut myself on my cooking show? And it was today, but it's fine. It was today. It's not a bad cut. Okay, so look.
There's your salad.
There's my salad. Look at that. Is that not gorgeous? Okay, so now honey, come over here. And now this, again, this is on my cooking show, on my blog. Can you just open that for me? So, and then my other ingredients for this are rice vinegar, seasoned rice vinegar. Mm-hmm. And again, do I have to measure? No, I do not. Now, people are going to be stressed right now because they're going to be like, oh my God, how much did you use?
How much do I put in? Yeah.
I don't know. This is half a cup. Maybe it's a half a cup, but again, who cares? Because you can drain it.
Start with a 1/4 cup and then add more as you
could do that, but I am really wanting to try to encourage people to not get measuring cups out because you don't
need them. I agree. You don't need them. But if you're nervous about it, start with a little. And then add some more.
Little, but if you add too much, you can always drain it. So these are the simplest ingredients. Splenda, some people think it causes cancer, but I'm here to tell you that we don't have time, but I've researched it heavily and it doesn't. Okay. You could use real sugar, but I do some Splenda and then I do this rice vinegar and then I do my other thing, which is black pepper, which I actually already used all my black pepper over there. So I'll make some after class. But then, Lisa, look at this beautiful salad.
Right.
And do you know how I'm going to know it's good? I'm going to taste it. I'm going to taste it. Also I'm going to add a little water just because we learned that vinegar can be, look, that's it. I'm going to just do that. And what I'm going to do, this is my Hungarian grandmother, Esti, which you'll see a lot about on my website, is she was a big taster. She never measured anything. She would just put things in her hand and go like that. Yeah. Okay. It's 3:44. And so what I do is look, so here's like my juice, right? Yeah. Mm-hmm. And I'm going to, okay, you know what? I mean, I don't want to upset anyone, but that's actually perfect. But if it wasn't, if it was like not sweet enough, I would add Splenda. If it was too sweet, I'd add a little more vinegar.
Right.
If it needed more pepper, I would add more pepper. If it was too much pepper, I'd add more veggies.
Right. And you can, and if you didn't want to use Splenda, use sugar or use
use
stevia or monk fruits or whatever.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly. Yeah. So Lisa, we are going to finish exactly on time.
That's phenomenal.
What I want to say is that I really hope, so again, I'm not selling anything. However, I would love for everyone to go to my website, which again is juliefingersh.com for these reasons. unselfishly for you, I want you to learn how to cook and be happy doing it. And I promise you, if you watch my cooking videos, if you read my blog, I am terrible at many things, but one thing I'm really good at is like teaching people to like do things in a more fun way.
Well,
And
I'll tell you, so just for the 20 minutes, 25 minutes, you were actually cooking in the kitchen, right?
yes,
You
yes,
made a huge salad. You made cauliflower casserole and the topping. You made corn on the cob. You made potato skins. You made farro and fried farro crumbly things. You made chocolate pudding, yogurt pudding, and showed
25 minutes.
how to eat it in 10 different ways, and we talked about how using farro in 5 different ways.
Ooh,
So
you're
yeah,
good. You're
20
making me feel,
minutes.
yeah, and that is going 100 miles an hour. But
Yeah.
the point is that anyone can learn to do this. So I really hope everyone will go to my website to look at that and watch the other cooking videos, because I promise you what you'll learn is how to break the rules. And that's all you really need to learn. It's not like figuring out exactly how I did it. It's figuring out that you can do it.
Yeah.
That's really what it's about. And then selfishly, let me promote myself. I want you to go and look at my articles, because I am a writer and I am about to go in submission for a book, and would love for people to sign up for my website, because that will help me get a publisher and help my agent who I got. And so that would be great. Plus, hopefully you'll like the things that I've written about.
Yes.
But for my last 30 seconds, I just want to say that the universe works in crazy ways. And I met Lisa through my dogs. And I knew her in that one way. And over the last few years, I have learned that she is a superwoman and of many talents. And I watched her opening video for the She Is Me conference. And I was too scared to do a lot of promoting this time, because I was like, I don't know what I'm doing. I can't promote something I don't know what I'm doing. But next year, I promise you I will. And I just want to encourage everyone to support Lisa, because this is an amazing effort. And the message that you give is so real and so important. And I just think you're an example of like what women can do for each other. So thank you for
Thank
having me.
you. Thank you. That was fun. And thank you for letting me be here with you. I really
I loved
appreciate it.
it. I loved it.
Stay tuned. I'm just going to tell everybody who's up next. Brenda Hare is up next, and we will be back in about 12 minutes. So stay tuned,
Yes.
everyone.
Okay. Mwah. Happy cooking, everybody.